Have you heard of the Easton Backgammon Club? If not, keep watching because the organizer, my good friend Jamie Weinstein, joins me in this video to discuss it. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoy this video. Please like and subscribe, and you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. Let me know what you think in the comments below, what you'd like to see in future videos, and I'll work on it. If you love backgammon, you can become a member of this channel, giving you exclusive access to the most popular videos. My book, Backgammon Backgame Strategies, is available. There's a link in the description of where you can get it. And if you're interested in lessons, please contact me via email. My email address is also in the description. Again, in this video, it's my great pleasure to welcome back my good friend, Jamie Weinstein of the Easton Backgammon Club. Hello.
Hello, Alex.
How are you doing today?
I am fantastic. Could not be better.
Great. It's such a pleasure to see you again.
Thank you. You too.
Excited to talk a lot about your backgammon club. I'd like to start with a little background biographical information so that you
Sure.
get to know you a little bit better. Can you tell us, please, where you were born and raised and where you live now?
I was born in Far Rockaway, New York. I was raised just outside of there at Woodmere, New York, on Long Island, part of the five towns of Long Island, if you're familiar with that area. And I lived there most of my life until I moved to Brooklyn. And then finally, I live in Connecticut now. So, Easton, Connecticut with my family.
And what kind of work do you do?
I'm an IT project manager. I'm currently working for the state of Massachusetts, setting up a learning management system for their Department of Fire Services.
And I believe I remember you're married and you have kids, right?
I am married. It'll be our 15th wedding anniversary in November. I've got three children, Athena, age 9, and twins, Eli and Charlotte, age 7.
Oh, great, great.
And a
Congratulations.
dog. I've got it all.
Yeah, I sometimes I play backgammon with my kids. You ever get a chance to do that?
I do. I've been trying to play backgammon and poker with them basically since they were born. And they have varying levels of interest. My oldest daughter is a little bit more interested in backgammon, but it's hard to take out a backgammon set when you have three monsters running around. So, so I try to find places where we're alone. I took her to Long Island the other day. I was on the ferry from Bridgeport to Port Jefferson, and we had time alone, just she and I made sure I took a backgammon set with me to play.
Yeah, my 4-year-old daughter, they like different things at different ages. She likes to put the dice in the cups and shake them and make the sound,
Oh
roll
yeah,
the baffle box. She likes to see that. So she has a lot of fun with that.
I think the tactile sensation of backgammon is part of it, so that's what draws kids in. Great. Now let's get them into strategy.
Exactly, exactly. So we'll be talking a lot about backgammon. Do you have any hobbies and interests outside of backgammon? I know you like
Uh,
poker, right?
I do like poker. That's kind of how I started into backgammon. I've told that story on a previous video. I play guitar, and that's pretty much it as my hobbies go. I'm a gamer. I like games of all sorts. I just don't get a lot of opportunities to play other than backgammon and poker.
Did you grow up playing games?
Yeah, my grandmother taught me poker. As a matter of fact, I have a very vivid memory. I was about 6 years old. My grandmother was babysitting me. My two older brothers were out, and my parents were out. And she sat down, and said, "I'm going to teach you 7 card stud." I said, "Okay," and she taught me the suits and everything. And she said, "Get your change bottle, and we'll play for the change." So I had just learned the rules, so of course I was an expert. Dunning Kruger effect. And we split up the change, and she wiped me out, just took all my money. And then she gave it back to me. And she said, "Okay, we'll play again tomorrow." So I figured, oh, this is just what happens. You lose, you get your money back. And the next day, to teach me a lesson, this is a true story, she took my change and then she kept it. So that became a way of me figuring that, oh, I better get better at this game if I'm going to ever win some money.
That's good. So you started playing poker when you were young. How'd you get into backgammon?
I got into backgammon because I had a poker league where I was living in Manhattan at 45 Wall Street, and it was a pretty popular poker league. And across the street at 60 Wall Street Atrium, which is the Deutsche Bank building, or was anyway, there was a underground community of backgammon players. So all of the backgammon hustlers would congregate there during the winter months, and in the summer months, they were in Zuccotti Park, which is just a 2-minute walk away. and I sort of fell on them. Some of them started coming to my poker game because a lot of the backgammon players sort of gravitated to poker. There was more money in it, and I gravitated toward backgammon, and I've just been playing it ever since. That was 2005,
Great. So
2006, in that range. Yeah,
about 20 years then.
just about 20 years. But I hadn't played for a long time until recently.
So what would you say you enjoy about backgammon?
Oh God, I love the socialization part of it. I love the fact that you can pause the game, go do something, and then come back and just pick up right where you left off. You can't do that in poker and a few other things. Um, I love the tactile sensation. I love of the feel of the board. I love that every board is unique and all the checkers are unique and just every combination is unique. So it's almost like you're playing on an art piece. I like that part of it, and I like the strategy. I like the mind game of it. It's the same reason I like chess. The same reason I like crossword puzzles. Just that it exercises your mind, and that simple positions can be a lot more complicated than you think. The more you know about them.
That's great. That's great. So you've been playing more recently, as you said, and now you've started the Easton Backgammon Club, now the Easton Reading Backgammon Club. Tell us
Yes.
about how that started.
So it started a little over 3 years ago. When I had kids, when I moved out here, I stopped playing completely because I had no one to play with. My wife, I tried to get her interested, and she's just my wife is unless she masters something immediately, she doesn't like it. So clearly, she didn't like backgammon. Um, so I had one board at the time, my Chrysloid True Blue, board number one, and I was just sitting on the shelf. And my kids were born in 2017, 2016, and I couldn't play for a while because the first couple of years you're just swamped with childcare. And after they got a little bit older and it became a little bit easier to take care of them, I said to my wife, I'd really love to be able to play out somewhere, but there's nothing around. I live in Fairfield County, Connecticut, and there was just nothing. There's Ross Gordon had the Connecticut Backgammon Club, but it didn't run very often, and there weren't a lot of people who went. And I said, I'd like to run something here in town where I could just do something locally. The thought process was, oh, I'll get like 20 or 30 people from the town and we'll all meet up and we'll play backgammon. That was the thought process. My wife said, yeah, sure, go ahead. And she only said it because she was sure that I would fail. She was sure it wouldn't take off. Absolutely. This is never going to work. Who are you kidding? Anyway, 3 years later, she's kicking herself. So we started up in 2022 and April of 2022, and we started off with a big bang. We had 24 people come to the first one, and then it trailed off because I provided free dinner. I realized free food is a big draw, and the numbers have been slowly going up, and now we're getting about 20 people per session.
Is that how did you get 24 people to show up the first time?
Oh, I went on Facebook and I went on every local town page. So Easton has a page, our neighbor Trumbull has a page, Bridgeport, Fairfield. I went on every page and I announced we're having a big kickoff. We're starting this backgammon club. I wrote some good copy and I said at the end, dinner will be provided, catered dinner will be provided. And sure enough, 24 people showed up, some of whom, by the way, are still in the club, some of whom kept with me for 3 years.
That's great because a lot of people ask about starting their own local clubs because there are people everywhere that play, and sometimes they're in maybe more rural places where there might not be
Yeah.
a club. Like you were in New York City and there was a club, but in Connecticut, maybe not so much. So creating one is good, and doing it through social media is good.
I think that's the only way to do it. And it really takes effort and it takes work. And in my case, it takes a little money because I pay for the food
Right.
at each of the meetups. And it's become now a thing. I don't ask for any money. I know a lot of club members, club directors will ask for money from their members, and more power to them. I never wanted money to be the thing that people said, I can't go to the club because I don't want to pay $10 or whatever it is. So I take the hit and I say to myself, okay, how much do I spend a year on the club? Maybe I spend $2,000 or $1,500 a year net out of pocket. To me, that's like, okay, that's my expense for the club. That's something I do every year. And I'll take the hit on that because it's my hobby. Um, I'll just have to make it up in backgammon charrettes.
Yeah, you have to do that. It's a little harder depending on your area because when you told me about that social media strategy, I tried it myself, and here it's like very densely populated, and it's just harder to get the word out in that way on Facebook.
Right, right. So that's a good point you have there, right? Because you're in Los Angeles, so you'd think, oh, that's easy, right? Because you got 12 million people in the greater Los Angeles area, however many. And here in my town, we have 8,000 people, and the surrounding towns maybe have another 50,000 to choose from. Um, but in the smaller towns, Facebook becomes more of the place to go because how else are you going to get information about your town? Whereas Los Angeles, you've got newspapers and radio and this and all this media. So focusing on just on that social media, you're not going to get everyone because not everyone's on social media. But here, everyone has to be on social media because it's the only way to get information.
Yeah. Also, I find like maybe organizing events is a little different depending on your location as well. So, how
Depending
often?
on your location and depending on the age group of the people you've got,
Right,
right? Because
right.
they want different things. Sure.
How often do you meet?
We meet every other Tuesday. That's all I could get from my wife right now. This is all based on my wife, by the way. So we meet every other Tuesday. We start around 4:15, 4:30 p.m. at the local library, and we go till about 9:30 or so.
So you're a local library,
Yes. Oh, so one of the things about starting the club was, oh my God, where am I going to have it?
right?
I know that a lot of people go to restaurants and what have you, and I've had bad luck with this. I've gone to local restaurants and said, "Hey, will you host us?" And people say, "I don't want you guys taking up 10 tables and not ordering any food," which I totally get. We actually tried the one time we tried it. We went to a pizza place that has a whole separate dining room, and we meet on a Tuesday. We meet Tuesdays, and Tuesday is not traditionally the busy time for pizza places. So I figured this would be great. We'll order some pizza. We'll order some beer, and we did. And I think our final bill came out to be about $250 for that session. And the owner said, "I can't have you back here anymore." I said, there was no one here. There was no one here. What do you mean? We gave you your only business. All your other business was on the other side of the wall, the bar business. And he said, "Yeah, but I'm worried that one day a large group's going to come. They're not going to have any seats because you're here." And that's the kind of thinking that I've been having with a lot of the restaurants. So what I did was I went to our local library, has a large community room that fits about 150 people or so,
Hmm.
100 maybe. And I said, "Can we rent this?" She said, "Oh, you live in the town. We don't charge you. You can just reserve it." Which is, oh my God, it's the only thing that's really made this club take off is having one place to go every time. So it's been a wonderful addition to our repertoire and a great place to meet.
Interesting. We have our venues at restaurants because we have like a longer term if people are there for maybe 6 hours or so. So people want to order a meal. So that's kind of what we do. And each club is different. At least for us, like we have an agreement with the restaurant, they'll let us use their private room and then we agree to each person spending a certain amount and
Right.
then it's a win-win for everyone.
Yeah. So my issue with that is that we have, I mean, we skew toward the oldest segment. And I don't think that's a knock on anything. I think it's just the realities of the demographics of where I live. So most of my club members are 50 or older, and I didn't want to commit them to spending money that they didn't want to spend. So, because the idea of going out to backgammon for free, great, we can do that. But now, oh, you're going out to backgammon, but you have to spend $30. Then it becomes iffier, and I didn't want attendance to suffer. So what I do is I take the hit and I order in pizza at the library, and they deliver the pizza. And I do usually get some people giving me money. I never ask for money, but people volunteer to give me money for the pizza, and that usually covers about half my cost.
That's nice.
Yeah. We are, however, so one of the things about the library is that that room can be taken over. Like I've reserved every year, I reserve all the Tuesdays we need throughout the whole year. But every so often they'll call me up and say, we need to take over your room for that day,
Oh,
for whatever reason. And they just called me a couple of weeks ago and said, we have voting this year, municipal voting. We need the room for the two of the Tuesdays that you need. So we went over to a hibachi restaurant in Trumbull. Yeah, and they have a big front room with tables, but most people don't want to sit at the tables. They want to sit at the hibachi tables. And they said, yeah, you can absolutely sit here as long as you'd like. They didn't even ask for a minimum. So we're going to try that out. Our next Tuesday is the first time we're doing that. So which is September 2nd is our next meetup.
interesting. That's
Yeah,
great.
we'll see how it goes. Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
So how do your meetings work when we do them? We have chouettes, we have tournaments. What do you guys do for yours?
What we found has worked so far, and I've been tinkering with the format ever since I started. But what we found right now has been working is from 4:15 to 6 o'clock. We'll have social play. People can break off into one-on-ones. They can do chouettes, whatever they want to do. At 6 o'clock, everyone who wants to, and it's not mandatory, we start a tournament series. So we do a round robin tournament of everyone who wants to go. But we only do the first 3 rounds because a round robin tournament, technically, everyone's supposed to play each other. But after 6 or 7 people, it's too many, right? So, so we do. So I get the computer to make the bracket, and we do the first 3 rounds, and everyone does 5 point matches. So you do 5 point matches, 3 of them, and then I assign player points for the club based on how you did. So you get 5 points. You get 5 points just for showing up to the meetup. You get
That's
five
good.
points per win for the match, and then if you win all three, if you sweep them, you get an additional 10 points.
Oh,
Yeah, and so now it's on our Facebook page. We have the player of the year race and whatever, and I usually give away a backgammon board at the end of the year.
oh, that's great. That's great.
Yeah,
Got a big collection.
yeah. Well, exactly. I've got a large collection, so I can't use them all. I generally throughout the year will look for bargains for
Right.
exactly this purpose, right? Yeah.
So how many people do you typically get at your events?
Typically, we've been getting. I mean, it's been creeping up over the years, and typically, right now, we're getting about 20. We've gotten as many as 23, 24, and then we've gotten as few as recently. I think the lowest we've gotten is about 16. So it's considering what we're pulling from. We don't have a large major metropolitan area. It's a pretty good
Right.
number. Yeah.
It's like that's like amazing because what's the population of that area, Easton and Reading?
Easton
Approximately
and Reading together is about 16,000 people.
16,000. So
Yeah.
like we get 20 people here in Los
Right.
Angeles,
In Los
and it's
Angeles,
been
exactly.
going for 40 years. So,
Wow.
I think we can learn from what you're doing and things like that. Uh,
So yeah, I mean, you got to think of what's a draw to people, what brings people in, and if you're going to hold people and you want them to be there for 5, 6 hours, you got to feed them.
yeah,
I feel like food is a big draw, honestly. But then there's the expense of it, and also, my club, we focus more on social play and we focus more on learning. So yes, we do have these matches where people take it pretty seriously, and they learn about tournament play and match play and that sort of thing. And we use clocks, and we try to make it as I'm trying to make it as USBGF friendly as possible. Um, but at the same time, like we don't get so deep into it, into the competition of it, that it becomes unfun. So very frequently, people will, even in a match, they'll make a move, and the other person will pause the clock and say, "Why did you make that move?" Or can you explain to me what your thought process was? So there's a lot of this going back and forth with people saying, well, this is the reason I thought it because I'm leaving, too many blots if I split this one, and they go through the whole thought process, and whether or not it's right or wrong is irrelevant to me. The idea that everyone's sharing those ideas together, that's the thing that warms the cockles of my heart. That's the thing I love about the club, is that we really are focusing on getting everyone to be better.
that's great. And what would you say the players say they enjoy most about attending the events?
Um, Camaraderie. You see the same people over and over again. You start a lot of good friendships have formed as a result of this. I think people like that. It's a good group of people. Um, you have to have, I think, somebody to be the pillar. So I act as sort of the pillar of the club, and then everyone gravitates around me. And I have a fairly bubbly personality, is what people tell me. And I'm nice to people, and I try to make everyone happy. So you end up attracting those kinds of people, and they attract in turn other people who want to make other people happy.
That's good.
And every so often you do get a curmudgeon in the group, I mean, it's true. People are, listen, we're talking about backgammon here, right? And you get people who are, "Rah," whatever, and those people find out very quickly that we don't like people who aren't friendly. We don't like people who are too aggressive or too competitive, because there's no money at stake here. I don't charge anyone dues for my club. There's no fee to enter the matches. The prize that I give away is free to them. I have purchased it myself. That's part of the $1,500 I was talking about per year, 2,000 a year. Um, so if there's nothing at stake and you're being unfriendly, then we don't want you there. You know, you got to change your attitude, or you're not going to be welcome. So that's the kind of environment that I'm trying to spread.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. And now you have your own social media page on Facebook, so I want to take a
We
look
do.
at that.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the Facebook page. I wanted to take a look at this logo you have first, right?
Yes, exactly. So I think it's important to brand your club, because anything that you do with your club should have a logo associated with it, so that people, when they see it visually, understand that it's coming from you, and it's not just some amorphous group. Like, everyone can project themselves onto the logo. This is the logo we chose. I actually went onto Fiverr.com, 3 years ago, and some guy in, I don't know where, Denmark or something, did this for like $5, and I got my money's worth for $5. I think. I've been now that AI has become more of a thing. I've been experimenting with other logos, and I think the name Easton Reading is there's a reason. There's a historical reason I chose Easton Reading, which I'll say in a second. But it's an unwieldy name. It's a long name, so I'm going to be shortening that very soon to Easton Backgammon Club. The reason we did Easton Reading is because when I first started the club, I had imagined that I'd be pulling from our town and Reading, which is just to the north of us. Now, those two towns are linked because they share the same high school. So we think of each other kind of as sister towns, because we both pay into the high school, depending on how many people uh, go from each town. So we have that tax relationship and government municipal relationship with them. So I just thought of it as, oh, this is Easton Reading. This is the Easton Reading area. But right now, I only have two people in my club from Reading. So I think we're just going to X that out and make it Easton Backgammon Club. Plus,
Okay.
I'm starting a website. By the time this goes to print or whatever, gets published, this interview, the website will be live. I haven't decided on a URL for it yet, but Easton Reading Backgammon Club is probably too long. So
It'll be somewhere there.
yeah,
Okay, so just want to scroll through this. I'll put a link in the description, but you have a variety of posts so people can kind of take a look
yeah. The
at.
last few posts of me complaining about my bad luck online. So let's ignore
Oh yeah.
those. Here's a
This
good
is a
one.
beautiful board. I like the.
Oh yes, thank you. This is my art gammon board. This is I call Big Red.
Wow.
I bought this from a seller in France who sent it to me. I have Vintner cups that go with it,
Wow.
and this beautiful red croc leather board from our friend Ufuk at Art Gammon.
Yeah.
And this is one of my favorites. I love this board so much. It's visually great, and yeah, I took a picture of it at the club. I set it up just like this, and this was like no one was there at the club yet. It was just setting up the room. It was just me, and I was like, this is the beginning before battle. This is it, you know.
That's one of the things I enjoy about backgammon is the beauty of the boards. There are different kinds of boards.
So,
Beautiful
so
stuff.
wonderful. Yeah.
Oh, this was the article about the backgammon in New York. That was a good article.
Yes,
I read
that was a great article. That was in Financial Times, financialtimes.com.
that. So
And
I'll let people scroll through that if they're
uh
interested.
yeah, the Facebook page allows me to reach out. Most people have Facebook. Not everyone in my club has Facebook, though, and that becomes a little bit annoying. Some people are just morally against it, and that's fine. But then, like, how do I get you information? So I'm trying to reach out to different social media venues. I'm starting an Instagram account
Right.
because I got to get with the times, and I'm creating a website because everyone has a website. No one is not on a website. So at least I can start moving some content to the website, and especially just like start getting into the SEO algorithms for the various people. So if they look up backgammon near me, hopefully my website will show up.
That's great. That's great. So it's been great to learn about your club. Uh,
Thank you.
any plans for the future moving forward?
So my plan is to continue building the club and building its membership. I think we have a great group, but like I said, they do skew a little older, and I worry that people will get to the point where they don't want to come because they're too old to come or whatever. I want to attract younger people. That's the first thing. And I want to keep supporting additional clubs around me. So the Connecticut Backgammon Club is not a competitor. We're like we work together. I support them and what they do. I support Remy Davenport with what she's doing in New York. I support all the local clubs in the Northeast, and I'm happy to help anyone start a club. Having gone through this process myself twice now, because I did the backgammon club and I had the poker club in New York. Um, and I guess the main goal for me is to keep it going so that I have something to do on every other Tuesday night.
That's great. So where is the Connecticut Backgammon Club located? Is that in Hartford or somewhere else?
Connecticut Backgammon Club moves quite a bit. They used to be based in Norwalk, and they still have meetups in Norwalk, but they also have meetups in Hartford. They have meetups in Waterbury and a few other different towns. They kind of move around a little bit. And actually, that was something that was different because they moved around, and I felt, and I still do feel, that a club is better if it has a single place to go, if it has a clubhouse, so to speak. Because again, everyone can set their calendar and say, every other Tuesday, I'm going to be here at this place at this time. They can set their watch by it. This way they can plan their life around it. If you get a meetup for a club and it says, oh, this week we're going to be in this city and this week we're going to be in that city and we're going to meet at this time or that time, whatever, how do you plan to go? Right. So I've tried to keep it as organized as possible on that timeline.
Well, great. That's
Yeah.
wonderful. Thank you so much. Again, my good friend Jamie Weinstein of the Easton Reading Backgammon Club. It's been a pleasure to have you. You have an open invitation to return at your convenience. Do you have any final comments before we conclude?
Only if anyone is seeing this and you're in the Connecticut area or East New York, please by all means come over. We'd love to have you.
Thank you very much. I'll put your contact information in the description. We'll go ahead and conclude the video. Thank you to the viewers for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. Let me know what you think in the comments below, what you'd like to see in future videos, and I'll work on it. If you love backgammon, you can become a member of this channel, giving you exclusive access to the most popular videos. And again, my book, Backgammon Backgame Strategies, is available. There's a link in the description to where you can get it. And if you're interested in lessons, please contact me via email. My email address is also in the description. I look forward to seeing you in future videos, and until then, keep rolling your dice.